Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon and good evening, whatever your time zone may be. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Power BI MVP webinar, brought to you by Gil Raviv, who is one of our experts here in the MVP community. He's a blogger at DataChant. He's the Director of Analytics at Avanade. He does some great work there. And of course, Avanade is an exceptional company when it comes to analytics. Now, I don't know if you know a little bit about Gil, but Gil is an author, he's a blogger, he used to work at Microsoft, which we love. And he's also led the design and integration of Power Query over here. And he also has been a devoted M practitioner since the M equals Power Query formula language. He's got over 20 years of software development experience and 4 US patents. He's a brain. We learn from him every day. Welcome, Gil. How are you?
Hi, thank you, Kelly, so much for having me today. I'm really excited to have this session today with you guys. This is really exciting. I am kind of on my days working as part of the Power BI/Excel team in Microsoft. I became so in love with these technologies that I decided to stop developing them and start using them and teach others. So really amazing technology, amazing solutions, and I'm excited to be here today to talk and share with you some of the amazing capabilities of Power BI in specific to our strange kind of situation starting this year with the COVID-19 pandemic. So I was thinking, as most of us are bound to work from home or are starting gradually returning to work, I thought it will be best for our community to learn how to use Power BI to build your own COVID-19 dashboard. So this is what we are going to do today, and also in a next session webinar that we will have next month. So really excited to be here today to go through many different demonstrations of capabilities with the idea to just give you more knowledge, more technical tools to build your own analysis on COVID-19. Does it make sense? Shall we start? Now,
yeah, I think so. This is fantastic. I'm super excited about this. And I think this was a featured one, right, as well, Gil. We featured this on our Power BI community.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. That was, I think, on April. I released, so just to let you know, and we will start our demos with this link that you see here. So you can actually find on AppSource, if you see my browser, this is on Microsoft AppSource, the official app store for any business applications, including Power BI applications, and you probably know this source also for custom visualizations. But in this case, what you can see, if you will go through this link, and if you don't find it, I'm not sure if you can, I can try to paste it to you, but I recommend you just do a Google search for AppSource DataChant, and you will find this resource. And what I want to show you at the beginning of our session today, how you can use this free tool as an entry point for building your own COVID-19 report. Later on, after this part of the session, that will focus more on how you can use this solution as your infrastructure for analyzing COVID-19 and build your own reports on top of it, I will also start showing you what you need to do to actually build your own report without relying on all this work that we have here. Okay, so as a starting point, we can click here on the Get It Now. Here you are accepting Microsoft permissions to install this specific Power BI app, which takes you basically into your Power BI service. Inside your Power BI service, you can decide to install, let's call this one AppSource COVID-19, and I will add here some AAA, just so I will see it at the beginning of my workspaces, and I click install. Now you may see here, I have here on my DataChant demo environment for Power BI, a bunch of different demos, including here one that is exactly the same that I installed early on. But I just wanted to show you live the end-to-end experience, so you will see how easy it is for you to get for free this template app and start using it within your own organization. Now, as you can see now here, this specific application was installed. I can click here on Go to App. And now, and this is important, right? When you want to do analysis on COVID-19, it's not enough to have analysis on old data. You want to be able to have a solution and data set that keeps refreshing every day as you get new updates from the authorities regarding confirmed cases and such. So here you see, I will just click sign in. And in a second, you'll see here the rotating window. Here you see the rotating windows for the data set being refreshed. And within a minute, we will have, see now everything, the refresh was done. I can also, and you can also, after you install the app, you can go under settings of the data source and even set the schedule refresh to work. So every day you'll get new data sources, new data coming in. And now we will move to the analysis part for this solution. But before we do, I wanted to make sure that we give the proper credit about the data source, right? You can say, okay, Gil, you built this amazing dashboard, but can you tell us what are your data sources? Are they reliable? So for that regard, I have built this solution based on the Johns Hopkins University data sources. So to give them the right credit here, and because this is like one of the most reliable sources to track COVID-19 cases, used also by the media and by many different organizations. So all the solution that I built is based on this data source. And you can see here below, recently they also changed the license agreement. And now in the past, I could only share with you this solution for learning purposes as we do today. But if you would need now to use the dashboard for an official enterprise grade solution, let's say for managing the return to work policies in your organization using Power BI and Power Platform, there are many great Microsoft tools that are now available also on AppSource for return to work engagements, automations, managing different elements for your company. And now because this data source is now using the Creative Commons attribution, you are welcome to use this data source also for business, for commercial purposes, and not just for learning. Of course, I'm not your legal advisor for your company, so you better get also an official approval. But I think it's a great change in terms of the data source. In the past, it was only for learning. So back to our application after you installed it and you made the refresh, you will now see under the app sections that I have this specific workspace, this specific app workspace ready for me for the ability to start doing the analysis. So here we will not go into details of every little nuance that we have in this solution. But what I wanted to share with you is that like this is available for you for free. You can start using it. And the good news is like, for example, let's say you see here, you have a logo for my blog, right? So perhaps for your enterprise grade solution, you don't want to use my logo. It's easy to go here, click edit, not here on the app, but on the workspace. So just to show you, like any Power BI app, and this is not a session about Power BI apps in general. So you may be able on the Microsoft official website, learn more about Power BI template apps. This is another template app like many others, but like any template app, what you can do with it is to go and you can see once you install a template app, you have two variations of it. The first variation is as a workspace. So you see under workspaces, I can click here on the workspace, and this is where the development team that owns the COVID-19 dashboard can make changes. So here is where you will make all kinds of changes. For example, I will go to the report, again in the workspace environment, and I can now go to the ellipsis, click edit, and for example, decide to remove my logo. I will be very sad if you do that, but you can do that, right? So now you can put your company logo instead and go and click save, and everything is ready now for you to go back on the workspace and click update app. Clicking updating the app, this one will allow you now to share the app within your organization. So now under the app section, you can see we have another entity. This entity is not for the developers, this is for the application consumers. And now your organization can start enjoying this report. You can see that the DataChant logo is off. You don't have it anymore here. So you can build any customization using the browser, configure the report as you see fit. Now, before we move to the next element here, I wanted to tell you a bit, everything that you see here today, many of the technical elements of it can be found on my blog, datachant.com. You are ready to follow specifically if you go to datachant.com with the tag of COVID-19, and this specific link is available to you in the logo on the app that I just removed. You will see here many tutorials. Every article here is a tutorial, step by step, showing you capabilities of how to load the data, either from Johns Hopkins University data source or from World Health Organization, WHO, and be able to build your own reports. Some articles are about Power Query and the data combination transformation element of the challenge here. Some articles are about DAX and time intelligence and what if scenarios, and even very complex calculations. For example, in this article, we are offsetting different trend lines, different curves of COVID-19 to start by the relative day where COVID-19 started for each one of the states or the countries. So all this ability to do very advanced calculations is not just available to you on the AppSource, it's also available to you as a tutorial that you can learn how to build it yourself. Okay, so let's move back to our app. And I wanted to show you, let's say now you want to expose this free application to your business and allowing them to start consuming it and build perhaps even their own solution on top of it. Let's say you are from IT, you don't have the resources and the bandwidth to build an IT sanctioned COVID-19 report, but you would like just to allow them to certify the data set and allow any business to build their own report. Every business may have different return to work policies and business needs, so you don't really want to spend too much time in building the user experience. You just want to provide them the ability to build their own reports. Okay, so for that reason, let's just to show you here, I will go to the workspaces. I will go back to my workspace. This is again my development environment, and I can now, let's say I'm on the IT side, or I have some permissions also to certify data sets. I can go to the dataset level here, okay, and click here under settings. And here under settings, you can see I have the endorsement section, allowing me to say either to promote the dataset or to certify it. Promoted is probably like the Power BI champions within your organizations that have enough training, enough knowledge, enough understanding of the governance policies within your organization, and they will be allowed and you can set the permissions on the admin tenant settings, they will be allowed to promote this data set. Now, IT can then get the next level and even certify the data set. So here I can say, this is the Johns Hopkins data source can be used for business scenarios by the different, let's say, by marketing and finance teams. Okay, so I wrote this as an explanation for all the marketing and business team that are part of, that may have permissions to use the app. And now I can click apply. Okay, and now you can see if I will go now, let's close this browser and open a clean Power BI desktop. So now I'm, let's say I'm from the finance team, opening the Power BI desktop. I can go now to get data and select Power BI datasets. And here under the Power BI datasets, you can find out that I have a COVID-19 certified that I can use coming from the workspace of AppSource COVID-19 that we just refreshed 9 minutes ago. Okay, that's the same dataset that we just certified, and you can now use it. So let's just go again, do that. And I will select, what happened here? I clicked the wrong place, sorry. Just 1 second. So get data. I clicked by mistake Power BI data flows instead of Power BI datasets. So now I'm on the datasets. I'm selecting this certified dataset. Click create. And you see immediately using the Power BI live connection, my new Power BI desktop is connected with the COVID-19 app that I just shared with you. So now, just as an example, I can select COVID-19 cases. And let's take, here you see all the different measures. You can even, by the way, and this is relatively a new feature in Power BI, connecting live to a different dataset, you can click on the model view to actually see the relationships that I have in the model. So you can, of course, kind of understand, oh, I have a US population connected with one-to-many relationship to the US COVID-19, and all this kind of more advanced exploration to the data is available also now, in this case, in my scenario, to the finance or marketing team that can access this data source. So now, just as an example, I can select, let's select confirmed cases. We'll take the total confirmed cases, and let's select the date. We'll take the date. And now you can see in this specific visual, I can now use the hierarchies for the time and drill down till I get to the lowest level. Let's change it into a line chart. So you see this is worldwide confirmed cases, cumulative numbers. Let's change it into a daily one. So I'm searching for the daily, and I have here daily new cases, and I can bring it here. So now you'll see some fluctuations. So that is the daily, and I can also copy paste this one here and change the daily into a running average of 5 days. And now you'll see that the line is being a bit smoother. We have here some kind of a blank line that probably it's a bug on my side, but if I will change the date here to, instead of an hierarchy, just to use the dates, you can see that I will have the same experience. So in this line, as the daily fluctuations, this one is using a 5-day average, running average, that shows you the information a bit with less noise that can come from an arbitrary different detection, diagnosis, and testing policies in a specific country. Okay, so all this capability, now again, this is a Power BI desktop. I used it, built from scratch, using a refreshable database dataset that we have on our tenant, just because you installed the DataChant template app for COVID-19 analysis. So it's a great way for you to start building all kinds of interesting tools. You can either build your own things, even create new measures in DAX over a new Power BI desktop, or you can go here under the workspace, and inside the workspace, you can go and select the report, click here on the edit, and again, this is the workspace and this is the development environment. And I can click here to add a new page. And let's, for example, bring small multiples. So I can go here under Get More Visuals, connect now to AppSource to bring custom visuals. Let's search for small multiples. And we have here actually a nice custom visual that is certified. You see this little blue ribbon. So it's a certified custom visual. I'm now including it in the report. And in a second, you are going to see, just 1 second here, and just realize that this will be easy for you now. So now you can see we have now this specific icon that was just added here, and we can add it to the report. Let's expand it a bit. And now I can select the date, assign the date to the axis. Under the small multiples, I can select country. Let's bring the country here. And now let's take, for example, the daily cases. And now I can bring the daily cases. Let's see, daily new cases. This is the one that I want to use. And in 30 seconds or so, this visual will now, you see now it shows me the small multiples for each one of the countries. I can also sort it by the daily new cases and make it descending. So the first country with the highest number of daily new cases will be shown here as the first small multiple. Now you see it's relatively slow. I did work on a new version of this Power BI report that will be published on AppSource, I hope very soon, that will give you more functionality that is not available today, but will be available hopefully within next week. So just to give you an example here you have also in this Power BI report, you have also the ability to click here on small multiples. So this is the version for small multiples. In this case, you can see now that California and Texas and Florida and Georgia are the top countries with the highest daily new cases. And we can also see the trend line for their daily new cases and see like which state is at in terms of the cases. I can also flip to a global visual. So India is first, the highest number of daily cases today, then Brazil, then US. And if, for example, if you are located in the United States and you want perhaps to see your favorite state, let's say, in my case, I'm in Illinois, so I can click here on Illinois. And now I am going to see here at the bottom part that Cook County has the highest number of daily cases today. It makes sense because it's like the majority of the population in Illinois is around Chicago, and Cook County is Chicago. So just to give you an example, and of course, we can also go unselect Cook County, unselect Illinois, and now we can get here, we can actually see, so imagine that you are working in a global company where you have many different offices all around US. Here you can see which counties in US, across the entire US, just 1 second, let unselect it. So here we can see, for example, that Riverside, which is part of California, has the highest daily cases. Today, this is the if we have an office in Riverside, California, perhaps we need to do some kind of like making sure that we have all our temperature testing tools and all the cleaning supplies for our employees at that office. And this kind of capabilities will allow you to build such solutions without wasting too much time on all the data preparations and all the modeling and measures and such. Okay, so now I think it's a perfect timing. We crossed the half of our session today. So I thought it will be a perfect timing after I showed you what you can do in terms of using the existing Power BI app on AppSource that I published, how to do everything from scratch without relying on anything on my side. Okay. Kelly, are there any questions that we should take at this stage?
Yeah, we do. We have a couple of questions. I think Ali said, does the Analyze COVID-19 Cases app require Power BI license? A Power BI Pro license to access?
And that's a good question. The answer is yes. Any Power BI app available on AppSource, or even if it's not available in AppSource, requires as part of the instantiation, the installation of it, that you will have permission to create a workspace. And you can only have a permission to create a workspace if you have a Power BI Pro license.
Awesome. And then Salvador asked, will it be possible to have the access for this Power BI file? The non-pro users can't get the app. Thanks in advance.
Not at this stage, just because it is a lot of work invested here. And if I will share it, I will have a lot of support and maintenance to do. However, if you will follow my blog, you will find many sample files, PBIX files, that you can download and include the more sophisticated elements here. Okay, so all the Power Query preparations and all the sophisticated measures in DAX are available as PBIX files from my website, from my blog.
Excellent. And I did put the link to your blog there, and I also put the link to the AppSource app. So have a look in the chat window and you will see those. We have one more question from Pawal. He said that when he connects to the data set, is it possible to add more tables, for example, age, structure, by country, etc.?
That's a great question. In the current implementation, you cannot include additional tables into the solution, just because, like in any data set, as you see here, when we built our own report, we are using the live connection to the data set, and this functionality doesn't support a combination of multiple reports together. For you, in this case, you would need to follow my blog, download the PBIX files and start adding to them the content that you need. You are also welcome to contact me, and if you have an idea that makes sense to the community, I will consider to build it as the next version.
Awesome. Let's hope that answered your question. And Salvador said that he will do that. Thanks so much.
Great. Cool. So let's move to the next part of our session. I want to show you, and even if you forget my blog, forget anything, just find my app and install it, you will find out. So just to give you an example, in other pages you can find my blog. If you didn't follow my bad tip to remove my logo, you can find here a link to my blog with the specific filter on my blog for all the articles that are related. Just to show you here, so you see this is the DataChant with the tag of COVID-19, and you'll start from the bottom and move upwards step by step. You have many different tutorials and of course the PBIX files to go through a sequence of technical challenges that will allow you to build your own COVID-19 report. The tutorials are split into two categories. The first one is Power Query. This is the data transformation technology inside Power BI and other Microsoft products, allowing you to combine data from multiple sources, bring them all together. So for example, in my case, when I build this solution, you can see that I have here, I brought also US population data, and I have here also world population data. So I combine population and also density. As you can see here, I have also density, and all these are combined into some of the calculations that I have. So this is the Power Query technology, and you have some of these tutorials available for you to follow. The other type of walkthroughs that we have, tutorials that we have, is for DAX and modeling and time intelligence. So you will be able to appreciate both kind of technologies, very powerful technologies inside Power BI that you would want to test. Now, if we have here today, or as part of anyone who is listening to this webinar later on, people that understand a bit about Power BI and thinks that Power BI is just that nice, cool visualization tool, this is where I am really happy to be here today, explaining and sharing with you the great news that Power BI is a full stack BI solution, allowing you as a practitioner of Power BI to do things probably 10 times faster than any ETL developer that would use enterprise ETL technologies or modeling technologies outside of Power BI. The ability to grab data, combine it, prepare it, and build very sophisticated intelligence on top of it within the same tool are really a game changer. And if you are new to this technology and you don't want just to focus on cool visualization, these tutorials, this sequence of tutorials can really help you to start your journey and moving to the next level. So what we are going to do today is spend more time on the data preparations element of how to build your own COVID-19 dashboard. So our starting point is the Johns Hopkins data set here. Okay, so you see I have it here. I'm going now, let's open a new Power BI file. So I'm opening Power BI desktop from blank to show you step by step how we are going to build this solution. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going as part of the Johns Hopkins data repository, I'm going to click here on the COVID-19 data folder. And here I'm going to take the CSSE COVID-19 time series. And under the time series, I'm going to take the confirmed, let me just zoom in to show it to you. And we are going to take this specific data set, okay? So I'm clicking here. And now in my browser, you're going to see that I have this specific file with all the data. And if I will go under the row section here and click here on the row section, you can actually see this is the CSV file with all the data of confirmed cases. So our starting point would be to go to our browser and copy this URL. And now I'm opening the new Power BI desktop, clicking Get Data. And inside Get Data, I'm going to select Search here for Web. If this is the first time that you bring data in Power BI, you can see massive amount of data connectors, allowing you to connect to any kind of data repository on Earth, probably if you just have the permissions. So I'm selecting here Web to search for the Web connector. You see here, this is my Web connector. I will click on Web connector. And now I'm going to paste the URL from Johns Hopkins. So you see this is the CSV file, and I will click OK. I will click here under the transform data. And now this is the Power Query editor. Let's click here on the refresh because I did it in the past. So this is the Power Query editor, allowing you to bring multiple data sources together, mesh up the data, prepare the data, clean it up, explore it also. You know, you don't, even if you have very clean enterprise data from your data warehouse, this is an amazing tool that allows you to discover new anomalies, new outliers in your data as well. So you can use this tool to do that as well. So in our case, we have this data. For the purposes of the demo, let's just say that we don't really care about latitude and longitude. So I can just select these two columns and press delete. And you see that we have here the province, state, country, region. And then when I scroll to the right, every column represents a specific date. So when Johns Hopkins University tomorrow will update this data source on GitHub, they will actually add here on the right another column for today. Actually, this case is interesting. Let's do a refresh just to confirm. So right now, last time that I updated this data source is August 17. So we are hoping that they will give us more data soon. Okay, but this is the data that they have, and we need to bring it in a format that will allow us to build the report in Power BI. Now this format is really bad. It doesn't allow you to do almost anything, and we will need to flat it down. So the first step for us would be to promote the first row as headers. So I'm clicking here under use first row as headers. Now you can see that we promoted the first row. And the second thing, and this is one of my favorite functionalities in Power Query, what we are going to do now is select the first two columns. Tell now the solution that actually all the data, all except of these two columns, everything on the right is a date and a confirmed case. And we don't want this format. We want a table with province and state and the country and the date and the total number of confirmed cases as are reflected in the values of all these columns. So after I selected these two columns, I can go and right click, and here I can just go to Unpivot other columns and now see what would happen. After I select Unpivot other columns, I got exactly what I need. I have a date, I have a value, the country and province state. In some cases, like here in Afghanistan or many other countries, Johns Hopkins University dataset doesn't provide you the next level to drill down for a specific province or state. But for other countries, let's just explore it to show you. If I will just for a second filter all the blank values, you will be able to see that we have here, just 1 second. So we have here for Australia, Canada, China, Denmark, France, Netherlands, and United Kingdom, we do have those drill downs. Now, by the way, you may say, Gil, how did you bring information from US and states? We don't see United States state or county data in this report. And this is right, there is another file that you can use from Johns Hopkins to bring you this data and combine them together. So now let's just remove these two little steps. So again, let's do it again. So we selected these two columns and right click and selected Unpivot other columns. And now we have the attribute and value in the right way for us to keep working on it. Now, you may see here, I can change attribute to date and change value into the confirmed cases. Now, when I did this operation under the hood, if you are familiar with Power Query, this will not be new to you. By default, when you start your journey with Power Query, you will find out that you don't have any formula bar. But I really recommend for any user, please, if it's the first time that you work with Power Query Editor, please go to the View tab and make sure that the formula bar is enabled. And you will see why in a minute. Okay, so basically, once the formula bar is enabled, you can see that you have a kind of a strange language here. Strange if you are not familiar with it. It was strange for me definitely when I just learned about it for the first time. So this formula bar is a part of the M language expression, M like monkey or mashup, which allows you to do transformations and data wrangling inside Power BI and Power Query with capabilities that are beyond what you have available in the user interface. So for example, here, remember when we changed the column from attribute to date, this specific code was generated by Power Query. As you will do more and more advanced data preparations inside Power BI, you will discover that understanding even a bit the kind of I'm not even telling you, learn the syntax, but if you just can read table rename column, you understand, oh, okay, this step is renaming some columns. And then you can see here that you have some double quoted text that you can probably understand. In many cases, this will be either column names, like in our case, we renamed attribute to date, and we renamed value to confirmed cases. So start to see what you have here on the formula bar to learn more about it, because it will turn out to be a very useful tool in your arsenal. If you are more advanced and you're into programming languages and you have capabilities to write scripts in all different technologies, and it is the first time that you see this technology, I really recommend also that you will go here under Home, click the Advanced Editor, and this is where you can see the full M expression. And let me just 1 second. So this is the full M expression. Each line in the code here was generated by the UI, but if you know this syntax, you can actually build here very sophisticated transformations, and you can use the UI to speed up your development time. So you use the UI, and then you make some lightweight changes that will allow you to take the logic that you build here into the next level. Now, sometimes new users of Power Query are being asked, they received a challenge in Power BI from someone with a very challenging data set, and they are not sure if Power Query can support the preparations, the challenge to clean the data or transform it in the right format that they need. So an easy way for you to understand whether Power Query is the right tool, or even if it's not always the best tool to get what you need, whenever the data needs transformations and cleanup, and you have a deterministic way to describe what you need to do, no matter how complex the transformation that is required, you should know Power Query can support it. If it's not fully deterministic, this is where Power Query may support it or may not. But for any complex transformation, any complex logic that you need to do, you just need to know it's possible with Power Query, and the combinations of the UI with lightweight touches of this M expression can get you to do almost everything. And most likely 10 times, 20 times faster than any other ETL work that you would find, no matter which technology, no matter which language. You bring your top expert Python developers in the same room with top experts in M, and you'll probably find out that Power Query can achieve the same objectives 10 times faster. Okay, let's now move back to our scenario. We have this Power Query here with the province, country, region, date, and confirmed cases. let's rename this table. Let's call it confirmed cases. I wanted to show you why, another reason why it's a good thing, a good practice to take a peek in the formula bar. So if you will go to the first, you see here on the right side, we have the applied steps, and each one of these steps was a step that we have done through the user interface. It's a kind of like, sometimes new users are thinking this is kind of like a macro recording, right? Each one of these steps you have done through the UI, so it's being recorded, but the entire pipeline of transformation will be generated next time we'll do a refresh. So what I wanted to share with you, what would happen tomorrow when Johns Hopkins University will add new columns into the database, right? These columns will be added here on the right side. So it is sometimes really important that you will go through the steps to make sure that tomorrow when you have a refresh, the data that is going to change will not break up your solution. In our case, let me just show you here. You see in the formula bar, if I will just expand it a bit, you can see that we have here something relatively very, very strange. Can you see that? Let me just show it to you. Just one second here. So here we have a specific element, okay? This specific section here was generated by the user interface, right? We didn't write this code, but you can see here an explicit mention for 213 columns. So tomorrow, when Johns Hopkins University will publish a new data and a new column will be added, you can see also here on the right, this is column number 213. So when column 214 will be added to the data, and you will do a schedule refresh for this solution, this element will not work for you because here Power Query only loads the first 213 columns. So for that case, if we are just deleting this section from the code, now everything works the same way, and we can go back to our solution here. Just 1 second. And here, now when we will load this solution and set it to schedule refresh on the service, everything will work for us as we expect. Okay. So now I know we have only 10 more minutes for the session now. And I want to make sure that we have also some time for answers. So before we go through kind of an open Q&A, I just wanted to show you. So here you see we loaded all the data. We probably forgot, for example, to change the dates and the confirmed cases. So we can go always back after we finish this refresh. We can go back to home. Let's open the ribbon here so you'll see under home. I can click transform data to go back to Power Query. And here I can turn the date into a date and the confirmed case into a whole number. So now when I load again the report, you will see here an icon for confirmed cases. I can click here on the confirmed cases and let's put also the date and change it into a line. And you can see now you have the cumulative numbers, cumulative confirmed cases. Let's bring, for example, let's change it into a map. Where is the map? And bring the country. Okay, so you see, and the date should be, let's remove the date for now. So we can see now how the COVID-19 is being distributed across different countries, and it just took us a kind of like 5 minutes without my explanations to get to this level of work. And you publish this report, and it will keep refreshing to you. So this is relatively basic, few UI clicks and a minor fix to accommodate for new columns allow you now to build your own data set and own the transformations and to build kind of a return to work solution for your enterprise. Okay, so by that, let me just very quickly share with you a sneak peek for what we are going to do in the next session. In the next session, we will go over another very interesting scenario that I published on my blog recently, where we will go into the health. Yes, I'm sorry for that. The health organization, World Health Organization website. And here you can see we have many different PDF files. Each one of these PDF files, just to give you an example, have inside somewhere a table. You see this table with the same data that we have in Johns Hopkins. So what we are going to do live is showing you how to use Power BI, Power Query, data preparation, data cleanup, technology and experience to bring not just a single PDF file and bring all the specific table into your data set, but to do it across multiple PDFs. Actually, we are going to load all the PDF files from this website, and we are going to do that just without any other technology but Power BI, Power Query. So that's what we are going to do next. Now I know you may say, why do you need to do that if you already have Johns Hopkins dataset? Makes sense, but I'm sure that in your organization you have some scenarios where you store data in PDF files in a folder on a repository, and you have some very important data that you don't own. You got it from vendors, from third-party companies, from another team, and IT doesn't have any resources to bring it into the data mart in your organization. And now with Power BI, you'll be able, based on the techniques that you will learn on the next session, you'll be able to import the data and bring it all, combine it all together into a Power BI solution. And by that, let's just, for the last 5 minutes, I will be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Gil. That was exciting, and looking forward to the next session as well. We have a couple of questions here, and one of them is, it would be great to have a percentage of positive test rates.
Yeah. So that's a great comment. I think with Johns Hopkins, I didn't find an official data source for testing, but definitely if you have a good resource for testing across different countries and regions, we will be glad to include it in the next version. But definitely you can combine it with Power Query into any COVID-19 data source that you may have.
Okay, awesome. And then someone asked if we can share the link to the data set here. I think you have the instructions to get all of that, or is there something different that we need to add? I think we provided the links.
Yeah, I think so.
If you can't see the chat window above, I can repost the links if you like. And sure. I'll do so now.
Okay, so let me just very quickly, for my tutorials or for the AppSource?
It doesn't specify, so we'll let the person respond. Okay. If you could, that would be great. And then Salvador said he had a similar report with the same source, but still not refreshed since a couple of days ago. Do you know where I could where could the problem be?
So if you are using Johns Hopkins data source, we just saw that the last data came from August 17th. So perhaps for the last 2-3 days, we don't have more data, and that may be the reason. But you are welcome to contact me on Twitter or on my blog as a comment, and send me, if you can send me the file, I can try to look at it and give you a tip.
Great. And then Powell said, how do we set up automatic refresh of the report? Do you need a gateway? Do you need a pro license?
Yeah, great question. So you don't need anything. You don't need the gateway. The data source is already Johns Hopkins University, and even the WHO data source that we have also doesn't need a gateway because the data source is on the cloud. So schedule refresh will just work for you.
Okay. And then somebody asked, how do we find out when you will have live presentations?
I have live presentations. So the question is, why don't you do more live presentations?
Yeah.
You can try to follow me on Twitter, and if you need any live presentation and you bring enough audience, we can do a live presentation whenever we have the availability. So you are welcome. You are welcome to contact me. If you bring enough audience, I will be glad to do things live.
Awesome. And then we had a couple of questions regarding, can you please suggest some resources to learn DAX from a beginner? I'm struggling to create formulas that require date and time calculations. Oh gosh, there's a few sources out there, Gil. I mean, you can provide some and then I can provide some. There's a ton of MVPs who are doing.
Yeah, you're welcome to provide ones. Yeah. We will have the same.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, Matt Allington, also Philip Seamark, from Microsoft, and also date and time calculations, Reza Rad, who has a time intelligence. He just did a time intelligence webinar. So I can just grab those links now. Well, we still have another minute, and I'll see if I can grab those. But if not, let's see. Okay, and then we also have another question. I've been following Gil's DataChant blog since the start of the year. Simply thrilled to be listening to him on this webinar. Thank you. The learning moment for me in this webinar was the installation of an app template. Looking forward to the next one. And then our last one is problem found with the M code. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, that's fantastic. So let's get those links. So, okay, any other questions while I'm looking for those? We do have another question here. Nope, that's all good too.